Hi guys, so we're going to kind of do a basic walkthrough on how I back campers up. Um, I tried to do this in a live video with my truck. It didn't turn out as well, so I'm hoping I can do this with more of toys, um, just to show you how I back a trailer in. Um, some sites it's pretty easy to back a trailer in, some sites it's not. So what we have here, right here, is basically the drive to go through the campground. Where this pen is, this is where we're trying to park the camper. So what I do when I drive, when you back up in between the axles on your camper, if you have dual axles, that's kind of your pivot point. If you're starting to turn your trailer, that's where it's going to pivot. So if you go forward where you want to turn into your sight, and your back tire is clear of that obstacle, the trailer is going to pivot at that point. So you don't have to worry about that hitting. The really thing you got to worry about when you do that is when you're backing, your passenger side, when you're backing up this way, is going to swing. So you kind of have to keep an eye out for any obstacles that are here. For here, we can pretend they're like little pillars or something. So usually what I will do is I will have either a helper with me or somebody that's there, one of the customers. I will have them watch this corner right here just to make sure that I don't hit that obstacle. And I like to try to stay closer to this side than to the outside. Because when you start turning, when you got to turn it back, you're going to swing your truck the other way. So what I like to do is I like to pull in. And then when I start to back up, I get to this pivot point, and then I'll start cranking it really hard. And now you can kind of see visually back here to see what you're going to hit or what you're not going to hit. And then you just want to make sure that you know the capability of your truck so you don't jackknife your truck onto your trailer. And then you just start swinging it in once you get going. If it didn't line up the first time, just pull out and kind of see where you needed to go before. So we'll go and we'll start getting by that pivot point, and then we can start turning really hard. And if you keep turning, you're going to be fine. And from right here, you can visually see what's kind of behind you, because the back of the trailer is still going to swing this way, and it's going to end up over here. So you can visually see now if there's anything in this area. So if you just keep backing up, and now is when you want to look at your other side, your offside, because now the truck's going to swing that way when I start leveling it out. And you just want to make sure everything's clear on that. And then you want to back in. Now, when you get it to where you think you want it, you need to jump out of your truck. If this is a camper, you want to just take a level real quick, put it inside, make sure you're level side to side. The front to back doesn't matter because you're going to level that out after you're unhooked from the truck. So if you're fine left to right, you can go ahead and unhook the unit and then pull your truck out and get it leveled front to back after your truck is removed. Just the one thing that I always tell people is this is the corner that you have to watch for. It's your pivot point. It's kind of basically like having this pen underneath here, and it's going to pivot in that area. So you just want to make sure that the first wheel is past there before you start jackknifing the trailer, because the trailer isn't going to just magically slide into it. That's going to pivot at that point. Now if you're back here, it's going to hit because your pivot point is way ahead of where you need to go. You just need to get that pivot point about right there before you can start jackknifing that trailer. And that goes for whichever way you're backing up. If you're backing up the other side, the pivot point's on the other side. I myself like backing up on this side better towards the driver's side, because I do have more view of this way of what's behind than you do the passenger way. But either way you do it, you just have to be aware of anything that's in the way, like these barricades, and that when you're pulling ahead, when I first go by the campsite, I will kind of slow down and I'll take a visual look at what's here. So I kind of have in my head, you know, there's going to be something in the way. If I see like a tree there, then I know I kind of got to keep an eye on that tree. So I'll either tell the customer to, hey, I need you to watch this corner to make sure I don't hit this obstacle. And then when I start turning, I'll need you on the other side to watch that obstacle. And that's basically all they're watching for. So when I pull up and I start backing, I want to just make sure that my pivot point is going to get really close, not hit it, but get really close. And now I can jackknife it all the way around. And then you'll want to watch this other side as you got to straighten it out to make sure you're clear of any obstacles. And you just back it straight in. It's the easiest way that I've been doing this for 20 some years, and I've never hit anything. And I've hauled 40-foot trailers in some pretty small spots. The other thing, a lot of people use what we call head and bars, weight distribution hitches. I don't use them because I don't travel that far, but I know people who go through the mountains and stuff say they work really good. That's fine. Head and bars are made for going down the road. When you go to back in a trailer, make sure you take your bars off. They're little bars that go from the hitch to the camper. They hook with chains sometimes. Sometimes they're just brackets. If you leave those on, it has a tendency to bend those brackets. So when you get to the campground, the registration office, get registered, come out, take those 2 bars off. So when you're getting ready to set it into place, you're all ready. So then you can just pull in and then back right into where you need to go. Pulling out, it's the same way. Just make sure that when you're pulling out that you get past that point for those axles before you start jackknifing, because now you can turn that truck really sharp and it'll turn that. Like I said, this is just kind of a visual on how I do it. Some people have different ways of doing it. I don't have backup cameras on any of my trailers. So I've been doing it forever without them. And I've been doing really good. You just kind of, it helps when you have a spotter, especially in this front corner, when you're starting the initial turn, or into this back corner when you're finishing straightening out the trailer. A lot of times when you back in, if you need to straighten out some more, you can get in between areas right here with your truck to straighten it out. So a lot of times you can still pull forward into the next area just to realign yourself to maybe get centered to where you want to go more. And like I said, you just have to level side to side right now is where you're worried about. The front to back leveling comes after you unhook everything. So I hope this video helps. And please like and subscribe on my video. Thanks again.